With into the community activities, we need to remind students that these are designed to directly relate to what they've been learning in class. One way to help them make these connections is to remind them of the things that they've learned in class and to help them apply that skill. With program wide activities and excursions, the one thing that I think is really important is that I must model the behavior that I want the students to do. For example, if I want them to speak in French, that means I have to speak in French. When students are writing in their reflective journals, I think it's a good idea to encourage them to write as much as they can. Even if there are mistakes, that's okay. Just, continue writing. In order for them to make connections, I could give them helpful and useful feedback to help them with their writing. I think the more feedback, the better. With keeping students in the target language, even outside of the classroom, the one thing that I tend to do in my classes now is to play a game called the Mystery Student. So what happens in this game is I pick a random student and I listen to what they're producing, and if it's in French, if it's sounding good, doing what I ask, for example, I'll put a check mark under the smiley face on the board. And if they are not doing the whole activity in the target language, I'll put a check mark under the frown face. I do this secretly, that way the students don't know who is the mystery student, and I survey them several times throughout the activity. At the end of the activity, I see, for example, if there are more checks under the smiley face than the frown face, then I'll reveal who the mystery student was. That way they can be recognized for their success. And then the students will also get some kind of little incentive, whether this be a piece of candy or something along that line. However, if the student doesn't do so well and they get more check marks under the frown side, I don't reveal who that is because I don't want that person to feel as if I threw them under the bus. I feel like this activity could really be applied to any type of activity, whether it's in the classroom or outside. And finally, for encouraging the use of tablets, I think it's important to remind the students that the tablets are a really important tool and useful tool for them in their language learning process. In my school, we have a bring your own device policy where students are able to bring them in and use them in class when they're allowed to. I encourage my students to use their tablets, their phones, their devices, whatever, to help them with their vocabulary. I like for them to use the word reference app to look up words that they don't know to help them through the activity.